Chapter 1. Once upon a time, there was a promise. If you worked 40 hours a week, played by the rules, and got a decent education, you could buy a home, you could raise 2 children, take a summer vacation, and retire with dignity. This was the middle class, the backbone of the Western world. It wasn't about being rich, it was about being secure. It was the engine that powered the American dream and the European social model. But today, if you look at the streets of San Francisco, London, or Berlin, that engine is stuttering. The picket fences are rotting. The savings accounts are empty. The middle class is no longer a destination. It's a disappearing act. Today, we investigate the systemic forces that are systematically killing the middle class. Chapter 2. To understand the death of the middle class, we have to look at the great decoupling. Since the 1970s, worker productivity has soared. We are working harder, faster, and smarter than our grandparents ever did. But the rewards have not followed. While the costs of life's 3 essentials, housing, education, and healthcare, have exploded by hundreds of %, wages have remained practically flat when adjusted for inflation. In the 1960s, one person working a manufacturing job could support a family of 4. Today, a dual-income household with 2 college degrees is often just 1 medical emergency or 1 car breakdown away from poverty. The scissors are closing, and the middle class is being squeezed out. Chapter 3. In the mid-20th century, the middle class was built on stable labor. You had a job for life. But then came the 2-headed monster, globalization and automation. First, the high-paying manufacturing jobs were outsourced to regions with cheaper labor. Then, the jobs that stayed were automated by machines. And now, as we enter the era of artificial intelligence, even the white-collar knowledge workers are at risk. The economy has split into 2 extremes. At the top, a tiny group of high-tech specialists and capital owners. At the bottom, a massive service class of delivery drivers and gig workers. The middle, the stable, predictable jobs that once defined a nation, is simply being deleted from the system. Chapter 4. When you can no longer afford the lifestyle you were promised through wages, there is only one way to maintain it: debt. The modern middle class is built on a foundation of credit: student loans to get the job, mortgages to get the house, and credit cards to buy the groceries. In the US alone, household debt has reached a staggering $17 trillion. We aren't living anymore. We are servicing debt. We have become a society of debt serfs, working not to build a future, but to pay off a past that we were told was necessary for success. This isn't just an economic crisis, it's a psychological prison. Chapter 5. While the middle class disappears, the wealth doesn't vanish. It just moves. We are witnessing the greatest transfer of wealth in human history. The top 1% now owns more than the entire middle class combined. The tax systems in many Western nations have been designed to favor capital over labor. If you make $1 million trading stocks, you pay less tax than if you make $100,000 as a doctor or an engineer. The system is no longer designed to create a broad middle. It's designed to concentrate wealth at the absolute summit. Chapter 6. In the next video, I am going to reveal a secret that will change your entire thinking. Join now if you don't want to miss it. A society without a middle class is an unstable society. History shows us that when the majority of people feel the game is rigged, they stop playing by the rules. We are seeing the rise of populism, social unrest, and a deep-seated anger that is reshaping politics across the globe. Can the middle class be saved? It would require a total reimagining of our tax codes, our education systems, and our social safety nets. It would require a move away from short-term profits and back toward long-term stability. Is the dream dead, or is it just waiting to be rebuilt? The answer depends on what we value more: the prosperity of the many or the excessive wealth of the few. Has the cost of living forced you to change your dreams? Share your story in the comments. Let's start the conversation. And if you found this insightful, subscribe for more. We have a world to understand.